A Hollow Faith podcast by Dr. Reverend Israel J. Godfrey, Heritage of the First Church. The problem with the modern church is that it compromises its supernatural faith for faith in what's around them, and thus they have become feel-good sensationalists looking to score a good life claiming to be a shepherd. It's a hollow faith. It was a shortcut, and it stunted their supernatural growth because of it. I blame that on John Calvin. He made success in the world's eyes more believable than anything Christ said. He's in hell too. None of these people have any supernatural gifts because they never were truly obedient to Christ to begin with. That's how you get those gifts. Not all gifts are the same either. Not every prophet is in need of healing the sick. Some prophets bring judgment instead. I don't have the ability to heal anyone, but I have called down destruction on my enemies, though. I even have an invisible companion that has humbled the arrogant and turned them into little mice of men, though. Don't get it twisted. I'm not one of these fakes in the pulpit begging for money. I live what I preach, and that's the difference. I'll tell you something that happened to me in more recent years. I had $300 or so in my wallet and caught a cab to Walmart and bought a tent. I called for another cab to pick me up, and I was sitting down on the concrete waiting for him to come. I had about $250 in my wallet at that point, and a young woman came up to me to give me some money, and I refused it because that would be taking advantage of her, in my opinion. I explained to her that I had money, and the tent was for camping, real camping, and not living in the woods. She got angry with me instead. Well, I don't want anyone's good deed to be stunted. So now when someone offers, I take it with gratitude and don't bother trying to even seem ungrateful, because that young woman was trying to do a good deed, and I felt afterwards that I might have caused her to feel cheated out of that which might hurt the next person who might actually be in need. I don't want to do something underhanded in any way, shape, or form. That was my upbringing, and besides that, I had thousands of dollars in my savings account. I just don't want to discourage others from doing what they feel is right, because even though I wasn't hurting the next person, might be. It would be one thing for me to tell you about the real supernatural with no proof, but others, including cops, have witnessed it for themselves. If I can't back up what I say with proof, then I might as well be a liar to people, and that's exactly what normal people will assume. No, spiritual gifts are real. Heaven and hell are real, and so is Jesus Christ and his angels. This made-for-show nonsense isn't 99% of the time. And why? Because their motives aren't right in God's eyes. That's why. If they had lived the truth that most of us have read, they would have real faith then, and their actions would prove it too. And guess what? People have called me the Antichrist. Lol. Good. The Pharisees said the same thing about Jesus too. They called him the devil as well. I don't know what to tell you, but people don't call normal people such things and mean it without some kind of motivation to do so. In my case, it was the real supernatural that motivated them to say such things because they were opposed to Christ to begin with and got handed their butts by something they couldn't see. That's why. I don't claim to be Jesus, much less God. That's a very different scenario there. A real Christian doesn't claim to be something they aren't because it's deceit without evidence. There's too many fakes already claiming to have the Holy Spirit too. I know for a fact that they don't. There would be real miraculous signs that followed them. Call me a hard-headed man that believes in the biblical ways. The husband is the head of the wife, not the opposite either. If a wife wants to leave, then let her. It's better for you in the long to let go before compromising with the world to please. That's another ticket to hell too. In that sense, your wife is your idol then. Don't get caught in that trap either.